In this video, I'm gonna share with you how to get cast on a reality dating show. I'm sure this can work with different genres of reality TV shows, but more specifically with dating as someone who was cast on one. And at the very end, I'm gonna talk about what I think is the most common way people get cast on these shows. So you're gonna wanna stick around. Hey, welcome to my YouTube space. My name is Garen Flowers. I'm an entertainment writer, a professor, and a game show host. And I was on season 16 of The Bachelorette, the one that starred Claire Crawley and then Tayshia Adams, because my season was absolutely insane. If you haven't watched it, if you did, then you know exactly how it went down. It was really cool being on the show. I had a great time, meeting the guys and hanging out with them. Dating Claire was super fun before being sent home, of course. But I did have a great time getting to know her. And it was just crazy being on that. Like, I never thought I'd be on a reality TV show. I never in a million years thought I'd be on The Bachelorette. I had never watched the show before then. There was a former coworker that had been on an old season of The Bachelor. So I think I saw like one episode to watch her, but I think she was sent home night one. So never really got into the show. So I never would have thought I would have been on there. So I'll talk a little bit about how I got cast on the show and how I think you could get cast on a dating show if that's something that you want. So first things first, if you're gonna apply to be on a reality dating show, just be normal, just be yourself. You don't need to be crazy. There's all these thoughts about reality TV, people are crazy and all these other things. Like, a lot of these people are just normal, everyday individuals. And I know, because I know a lot of them, the guys from my season, people from Love is Blind, people from Married at First Sight. I've met them all and talked to them. They're all normal people who just wanted to pursue love. Pursue love or Instagram followers, but that's none of my business. Tell them your truth. Tell them you grew up in a two-parent household, or you grew up in a single household, or your parents were divorced and would argue all the time. You started working at 13 years old, or you grew up on a farm, you grew up in a big city, you were always out in the streets, hanging out with older people. Like, whatever it is your story is, just be genuine and authentic to who you are. And I think that will resonate with casting. It all comes down to storytelling and really telling a good, well-written story of who you are. That's how it starts. Next, what is the show about? You want to lean into that and focus on the things that this show is looking for. So if it's Survivor, talk about the adventures you've had, the experiences you've had as a person who's traveled and done daring things. Do you travel in an RV and go camping a lot? Do you travel to a lot of different countries? Have you gone on like a survivalist type of trip? Do you know how to start your own fire? Do you know how to catch fish with a stick? You know what I mean? If it's a dating show, focus on the craziest dating story you've ever had. You don't want to talk about something boring. Just sit down, think, what is the craziest dating experience I've had? Or what was my longest relationship? Talk about that relationship and why it didn't work out, and how it was 5 months ago and you're ready for love now. Or you have all these crazy dating stories of dating in New York or LA or Chicago, and you feel like there's not enough quality men or women that you've run into, and you want to apply to this show to give yourself a shot at love because you really believe in it. You really believe in fairy tales, or you really believe in your person being out there, and this is your way to find them. You're going after this opportunity as a way to find them because you haven't been able to find them in your own place or online or wherever. Another thing you can do is talk to a casting person. They're the ones making the decisions on who gets on these shows, so why not let them know you exist? There are lots of casting people posting flyers about casting shows on Instagram. Love is Blind, The Bachelor and the Bachelorette, Married at First Sight. All these shows have casting people. So why not search a hashtag or try to find these people, casting people, and just introduce yourself. Shoot them a DM, say, hey, I'm such and such. I just want to let you know I applied, blah, 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 blah. I applied to be on The Bachelorette. That's how I got on. There was a woman that found me, and then she connected with me on Instagram. And so I was like, oh, I know this person exists and she's on Instagram. So if there was anyone that I wanted to submit to be on the show, I'd push them her way. So at least she'd know that they exist and that person is interested in being on this show. Or that I want someone to be on the show and I didn't even tell them and they just randomly reach out to them. Another thing, work on your writing or have someone help you. As I said earlier in the video, it all starts with storytelling. You want to tell the best story of who you are to casting, to this submission of your application, right? Like, when you are able to dig deep and really find out for yourself why you're applying to this opportunity, then I feel like you're gonna present the best version of yourself. For me, I had just gotten out of this relationship that was like a very fast, very quick moving relationship, which was rare for me. I had never done that. I always took my time, my very slow time to get into relationships. And then I met this woman and randomly was like, why not? Like, why not get into it? And this was my first experience with love bombing, where someone was like, yes, let's do this, let's do this. I want you, I love you, blah, blah, blah. Like, wanted me to be in a relationship with her, told me she loved me, you know, like all these things, like super early. And I leaned into that early. I'm talking about early. And she ended up breaking my heart and basically saying, like, she has those issues with trauma that she hasn't healed yet from her upbringing and from her ex-spouse. And she is one of those people that just was very hurt and ended up love bombing me, you know? And so I kind of told that story about how I fell in love with this woman in 2 to 3 weeks, which is very unlike me. And I thought she was the one. I didn't think I'd have to apply for this show. Like, I wasn't interested in this. And I thought that they thought I was going to be crazy. I felt embarrassed telling that story, but they ended up liking it. And in my interviews with them, they kept bringing that story up. So clearly it resonated with them. And it was very true. It was very much true. The next thing, this is huge. You want to work on your Instagram. Unfortunately, we're in the days of social media where your social media presence represents who you are. And if you have low quality or raunchy photos, you're probably not going to get cast on one of these shows because you represent this show. You being put on this show, you're representative of them. So they're probably not going to cast someone who does not have decent photos or has super raunchy photos. And people are going to be like, why did they cast this person? You know, you don't have to have a big following. You don't have to be an influencer, but having bad quality photos or having, you know, photos that aren't representative of what this show is looking for will automatically disqualify you from being chosen if they find your social media accounts. And a lot of these applications will ask you to submit your social media accounts so they don't have to find you. They can have it right there and just check and see. So you want to work on your social media. And once again, I talked about reaching out to these casting people. If you're reaching out to them, you want to be able to present yourself in your best light on social media. If you're DMing them that you're interested in being on the show, that is massive. And when I was on The Bachelorette, a lot of the guys that were there with me told me that casting people found them, that they DM'd them and said, hey, are you interested in being on The Bachelorette? And the guys were like, what, who, huh? Is this a joke? There's plenty of men and women who have told me since being on the show that they were approached in the DMs by producers or by casting. It's not even just casting people, it'll be producers too that'll reach out to you and try to shoot their shot at getting you interested in the show. So here it is, what I told you at the end. I would share with you about what I think is the best way to get cast. And I think that's having a family member or friend submit you. I think if you're submitting yourself, it might not come across as well as someone who knows you can say about you. A lot of the guys who were on the season with me told me that they were submitted by friends or by family.
For Love is Blind, you have to submit a 15-second video saying why you're ready to find love in the pods. So you probably want to do that application yourself, but having someone help you, I'm sure would definitely not hurt. And to make it easy for you, I put a link to the application in the description.
And some of them didn't even know. Some of them didn't even know that their loved ones were going to do that. So if you want to be on a show, maybe tell one of your friends you're interested or one of your family members and just like have them interview you or have them think about some of the craziest things that you've told them about dating or about your life and have them submit you. Because I think that's a very endearing thing when someone who knows you best or someone who knows you very closely can submit for you. And like I mentioned, a lot of the guys who were on the season with me were nominated by someone who knows them. And so I think between someone who was the guys being nominated by someone or the producers and casting finding them in their DMs, I think that was the most common way that they were cast on the show. People who applied to the show, I think it was a handful or less of those of us who actually applied ourselves to be on the show. I think it was only 1 or 2 other guys that told me they did, so I don't even know how many, but it was on the smaller end. Most of the guys had been cast through someone nominating them or being found on Instagram. And so, to wrap it all up, once again, you want to work on your storytelling and your writing so you can help tell the best version of yourself. You want to be normal and don't act like you have to be crazy or super crazy or vibrant or whatever. Like, a lot of these reality shows cast normal people. So be normal. Lean into the show, whatever the show it is you're applying to. Make sure you think about things that would be interesting for that show, such as Love is Blind. You want to talk about how you don't necessarily care about looks as much as, you know, someone who wants to go on Love Island. Like you just care about someone's heart. You know, if you want to go on Survivor, talk about the traveling you've done or the survival type things that you've done. Also, work on your Instagram account, work on your quality photos and not being super raunchy or doing things that might not be the best. And lastly, have someone submit you, or if you're interested in submitting one of your friends or family, do that, because I think that's an incredible way to be cast. If you want more content about my experience with The Bachelorette or my work with celebrities and pop culture, or my videos about grammar and punctuation and public speaking, just hit the subscribe button. I post videos pretty often. Also, if you like this video, hit the like, it really helps. Thank you for being here. Once again, if you're new, thank you for watching. Please hit the subscribe button and I'll see you on the next one.